I got a phone call, said they were remaking The Color Purple, and of course, when you hear that, you go, that can't be me. I mean, the bar is so high on the original. It's a Steven Spielberg. It's a Pulitzer Prize-winning book. It's Alice Walker. It's a Tony Award-winning Broadway show, right? So you quickly go, there are other hills, and I eventually read the script, and I was like, something here. There's something I can do here, and there's an opportunity to create something new and create something that is mine. And so one meeting led to the next, and put together a great pitch that really showed that we had a vision, and there was a path to making something that was truly unique. The Color Purple follows the journey of Celie, an African-American woman growing up in the rural South in the early 1900s. She is forced to marry a man, Mr., who's abusive, who ends up separating her from her sister, and begins a cycle of trauma. Along her way, Celie meets two extraordinary women who transform her, H.E.R. and Sophia, and they kind of inspire her to become this person who then attracts the things that she wants. I knew that our film will have to be an amalgam of all these iterations, right? Of course, beginning with the Holy Grail, which is Alice Walker's brilliant Pulitzer Prize-winning book. That, for me, was the Bible. We'll always be able, whenever we were lost, we knew that we could go to Alice Walker and we will find our way. Steven's film gave us kind of the cinematic version, and the Broadway show gave us the musical. But somewhere in between all of this, we had to find what would be our glue. And that was what was going to be on us. And also we knew that we were bringing an imaginative quality that only our version has. And so that imaginative quality became almost the glue that held all the parts together. But it needed to be grounded, as far as I believe, anything that is imaginative or what people will call magical realist, the realism part is the critical part, because you can easily get off course and go off the reservation trying to be abstract, right? And so grounding the film in Alice's brilliant arc then made sure that anywhere we went, we could always return to the arc. And that's really, I think, what gave us our wings. This is a brilliant ensemble. I'm one of the luckiest directors in the world to have the level of skill and talent, and also rich depth. Like, everybody brought a wealth. My job as a director is to allow space. It's to create space for these artists to be artists. I take no responsibility and no credit for what they do. My job is just to create the environment and make it real and push them into that corner and allow them to be that, and people like Danielle, that's all they need. You don't have to say much. You show them the world, you tell them you believe in them, you tell them you trust that they'll find it, and they always do. I never look at any people as a monolith. No one's just sad. No one's just happy. We oscillate between joy and pain. That's what life is. So I find it quite unrealistic and quite one-dimensional that any story could be sob. And certainly the story of African Americans in this country is one that has constantly oscillated. If you think about the brutality that has been survived for hundreds of years, joy is critical to survival. And there's always been joy, even with, in the worst circumstances. So I say that to say, for me, it was easy. It wasn't even a thought. I was like, we're just gonna keep bouncing back and forth. And that is a human story. And that's what I also know makes this story universal, because we can all identify that oscillation between joy and pain. And Celie's story is exactly that. I always say this, when you don't just cast your cast, you cast your crew as well. It's the same thing. It's an energy. You need people who can be proximate, people who, even if they are not culturally, aligned, can be allies, because that's your eye. That person is going to be more proximate, and if they see beauty in the things you see beauty in, then you have a chance of making a phenomenal film. I mean, she just has a natural way of motivating and getting people excited, because she is truly, deeply excited about this work. I mean, this movie changed her life dramatically and radically. And so when she's there, it's not for the fanfare. It's because she truly believes that this work heals, and every time, we went through a very challenging production period. We struggled with COVID, we struggled with weather, and to maintain morale for 72 days of these very extreme and oscillating emotions, every now and then you need somebody who just shows up and lifts us all up. And that was Oprah. Yeah, it was magical to have her. We've decided very consciously to contribute to the canon of The Color Purple and take it to a place that it has never gone to. And, there's gonna be a group who are gonna show up expecting Steven Spielberg's Color Purple. And I think they'll be pleasantly surprised that we could add to, and for something that this storied and this special, we were able to add to something that is so historical. And certainly young people are going to find themselves in it, and those from an older generation are going to see elements of it that are new, but all still maintaining its grounded narrative. We inherited a slew of music from the Broadway show, and our biggest job was to figure out how we were going to take that music from Broadway and make it cinematic. One of my biggest jobs out of everything was to also create a level of proximity to audiences today. Just because it's music set in 1909, does that mean that it has to be only instruments from 1909? I think that the power of this film is one that galvanizes community. It is one that has always galvanized community. It has big moments of humor, big laughs. It has big trauma, and it has big tears. And I think that those are the releases that are even more special when it's in a public place, because it becomes contagious, right? And I really believe that cinematically, the work that we've done deserves to be seen on the biggest screens possible.